The car smelled faintly of coffee and cedarwood. She sat in the back, breathing fast, trying to fix her hair in the cracked mirror of her phone. Her name was Clara, a 29-year-old single mother who'd spent the last 7 years fighting through every kind of hardship life could throw. Her little boy Eli was 5, bright-eyed, curious, and waiting with a babysitter she could barely afford. She'd woken up late after working a night shift at the diner, then sprinted through rain puddles to make it to her job interview at Hamilton Industries, one of the biggest companies in the city. Her phone had died just before she could confirm the driver's details, so when she saw a luxury car waiting outside the diner, she ran toward it, assuming it was hers. In the driver's seat sat Ethan Hamilton, the company's young CEO, known to the media as the reluctant billionaire. He wasn't supposed to be there. His driver had called in sick, and Ethan, tired of the corporate bubble, decided to drive himself that morning just to feel normal for once. Clara spoke in a rush, unaware of who he was. "Sorry, sir, it's been one of those mornings. You can drop me downtown Hamilton Tower, please. I have an interview there and I'm probably already blowing it." Ethan glanced at her through the rearview mirror, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Hamilton Tower, huh? Big day." "You could say that," she sighed. "It's just, I really need this job. My kid's starting school next week and I can't keep doing double shifts at the diner. He deserves better." Her voice cracked on that last word. Ethan didn't speak. Something in her tone, so raw, so full of love and exhaustion, cut through the rain and reached him. He built an empire of glass and steel, but he hadn't heard honesty like that in years. When they reached the tower, Clara fumbled in her bag for money. "How much is the fare?" she asked. Ethan shook his head. "Don't worry about it." "No, I insist," she said. "You've been kind, I can't just." "It's fine," he said, turning to her with a smile that made her pause. "Good luck in there, Clara." She froze. "Wait, how do you know my name?" He didn't answer, he just gave a small nod and drove off. The office lobby was enormous, polished marble, glass elevators, and people who looked like they belonged on magazine covers. Clara, in her thrift store blouse and scuffed heels, felt invisible. The receptionist led her to a large boardroom where she'd meet the CEO. She sat down, rehearsing her lines, trying to ignore her trembling hands. Then the door opened. Ethan walked in, perfectly composed in his tailored navy suit. Clara's heart dropped to her stomach. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Good morning," Ethan said gently, suppressing a smile. "I believe we've already met on your way here." Her face flushed crimson. "Oh, I'm so sorry, I thought that I was your Uber driver," he finished for her, his eyes kind. "It's all right, you seemed in a hurry." "I'm so embarrassed," she murmured, wanting to disappear. But instead of laughing or dismissing her, Ethan sat across from her, leaning forward slightly. "Let's start over. Tell me why you want this job." Her nerves steadied a little as she began to talk. She told him about her years at the diner, her dream to provide a stable life for Eli, her commitment to hard work. Her words weren't rehearsed, they were sincere. By the end, Ethan wasn't just listening, he was moved. After a long pause, he said quietly, "You remind me of someone, my mother. She raised me alone too." Tears welled in Clara's eyes. She nodded, unable to speak. "Welcome to Hamilton Industries," he said finally, sliding a folder toward her. "You start Monday." The weeks that followed changed everything. Clara threw herself into the job, an assistant in the marketing department, but she was still haunted by insecurity. The office was full of polished professionals, and she often ate lunch alone, missing her son and doubting her worth. Ethan, meanwhile, found himself thinking about her more than he should. He'd built walls around his heart long ago, walls of meetings, mergers, and money. But Clara, she was different. She didn't see him as a millionaire or a CEO. To her, he was just a man. One evening, when everyone had gone home, he found her still at her desk. She was dozing over spreadsheets, her eyes ringed with fatigue. He walked in quietly. "You should go home," he said softly. She startled awake. "Oh, Mr. Hamilton, I was just finishing up." "Ethan," he corrected. "Call me Ethan." She hesitated, then smiled faintly. "All right, Ethan." He noticed her hands shaking slightly. "When was the last time you ate?" She laughed awkwardly. "Breakfast maybe. Eli needed lunch money and..." He didn't let her finish. "Come on, dinner on me." "I can't," she said. "It wouldn't be appropriate." "It's just dinner," he replied gently, "between friends." That word friends felt strange on his tongue, but it made her smile. That night, over a modest meal in a quiet diner, Ethan learned more about life than he ever had in a boardroom. Clara spoke of nights spent sewing clothes to afford rent, of the guilt she felt every time she left her son to chase stability. Ethan listened, truly listened, and something in him began to heal. By the time he drove her home, rain was falling again. He parked outside her small apartment and turned to her. "Clara, you don't have to do this alone anymore." She looked at him, startled. "I've been alone for so long, Ethan, I don't know any other way." He smiled sadly. "Then maybe it's time someone showed you." The days became lighter after that. Ethan quietly arranged flexible hours for her so she could be with Eli. He visited the office more often, not for meetings, but for her. And every time she smiled, his world seemed to grow warmer. Then came the day that nearly broke them both. Clara was called into HR over a rumor someone had seen her having dinner with Ethan, and whispers began. She was accused of favoritism, of manipulating the CEO. The humiliation crushed her. She packed her things and left before Ethan could reach her. When he found out, he drove straight to her apartment, heart pounding. Rain soaked his clothes as he knocked on her door. When she opened it, her eyes were red from crying. "You shouldn't be here," she said softly. "I should," he said firmly, "because I'm the one who should apologize." "You don't owe me anything, Ethan," she whispered. "You've done enough."